Hello, Simon Dixon here, CEO and co-founder of BnkToTheFuture.com. I'm here with George Harap, who's the founder of Bitspark, and we're here at a very special location in Hong Kong. And I'd like to do two things in this video. Firstly, I'm going to get an update with George about what's going on with Remittances in Southeast Asia and Bitspark. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to announce a very special bonus for our investors. This video is designed for our investors, so I'll get to that right at the end. But first, we're going to speak to George. So George, can you tell us what's special about this location?
Well, today we're here at Worldwide House in central Hong Kong, and Worldwide House is really the epicenter of remittances in Hong Kong. So every Sunday, literally tens of thousands of people come here to go to the money transfer shops to send money home, predominantly to Southeast Asia.
Okay, so for those of the people that aren't from Hong Kong, could you explain a bit about the Hong Kong culture, why there's so many Filipino, Indonesian people that send your money back home?
Yes, Hong Kong has about 320,000 migrant workers currently in Hong Kong, and many of these jobs are contractor, labour, but also maids and so on. So there's a lot of people in Hong Kong that have the need to send money back home, usually on 1 to 2 year contracts, and the way that they do that is through money transfer shops. So generally these customers don't have bank accounts, and perhaps they don't have smartphones either, but they do have cash in their pocket, and they need to take that somewhere to send money back home. So Hong Kong has a long tradition of cash-based transfers, both here to Southeast Asia and also to China as well.
Okay, so basically the job prospects are great to hear for certain places in Southeast Asia. They get paid in cash in Hong Kong dollars, and those Hong Kong dollars buy a lot more for their family back home, so they tend to send some money back home for their family. And at the moment they have to go to a shop which they build a trusted relationship with, and then on the other side in the Philippines, how do they cope with you?
Yeah, so it's about networks at the end of the day. If you have cash in your pocket and you don't have a bank account, then you have to visit a money transfer shop to send the money. And then of course, how are your family going to get the money at the other end? And generally these money transfer shops, they integrate with several different mechanisms. So it might be corner stores by the side of the street, retail shops like a 7-Eleven, it might be a pawnbroker, it might be a bank account as well. And there's all sorts of different methods that people use to send money back home. So these money transfer shops have to integrate with lots of different methods in lots of different countries with lots of different currencies. And what we do at Bitspark is really simplifying that whole process for the money transfer shop.
My stepmom, she's Filipino, to send some money to her family. I was really excited that actually this week or last week, your application, not just for shops, but for individuals who want to bring in money, was open. So I opened an account. Can you walk us through why it's significant this week and what you've launched now?
Yeah, so big announcement this week, last week, was when we launched the platform for individual users to sign up. So generally our website had been closed off to the money transfer shops only to use, but we thought we'd open that out to everyone in order to make an account at Bitspark, load it with some Bitcoin or other currencies as well, and be able to send money to any of our connected destinations. So essentially now anyone can go to Bitspark.io, they can sign up, they can make an account, and they can send money to over 100,000 different cash pickup locations in Indonesia, Philippines and Vietnam as well.
Great, okay. You also had a special announcement that we posted on the forum about something that's happening in Malaysia. What's happening there?
Yeah, so very exciting news for us as a company is that recently we signed an MOU with a listed company in Malaysia. MOU, Memorandum of Understanding,
okay.
With the Vitacell Group, so listed company, and they have over 5,000 different distributing outlets in Malaysia. And the purpose of this agreement is to really focus on Vitacell being our connector in Malaysia, to really sell the platform, get it out there to the money transfer shops. And Malaysia has about 10 times the amount of foreign workers working in the country, sending money back home. So for us as a business, it's a very exciting thing to be part of. So that's something that we're looking to build up over the next few months.
So how many countries are you actually supporting over there?
So right now we have, say, the Philippines. We can send to any bank in the Philippines, also corner stores, pickup stores, cash delivery merchants as well. In Indonesia we have all the bank accounts connected, which is about 70 different banks in Indonesia. I'm pretty sure it's all of them. And we also have post offices being enabled literally this week for Indonesia as well. And with Vietnam, we have about 70 different bank branches enabled in Vietnam, with post offices coming very soon. I think an important thing to note is that each country is different, and each country has different means that people pick up the money. So in the case of the Philippines, it's mainly retail outlets. In some countries, it might be bank accounts. But we notice that in places like Indonesia, it's post offices as well, because post offices are on nearly every island. So it's an easy, effective mechanism for people to pick up cash.
Okay. So what I think is interesting, and full disclosure, Bitcoin Capital made an investment in Bitspark, and what we were really interested in is, and what we were talking about, I just come back from Vietnam as well, is that predominantly these countries in Southeast Asia, they're still very much cash economies. And when you speak to the governments, they've got different goals and purposes at the moment. So at the conference in Vietnam, they had Visa there. And Visa was talking about how their main competitor in Vietnam is cash. And Vietnam, Visa is really trying to penetrate into that market to get people to use card and plastic. Now, you take other countries, like the case study, one of the companies we invested in was Remittances. And what happened in Kenya and other countries in Africa is they bypassed the whole banking system. They bypassed the whole credit cards and Visa and MasterCard and went straight to mobile money. So the trends that are quite interesting, and why Bitspark is interesting, is you've got the existing market, which is cash in. Somebody has to earn some Hong Kong dollars, they want to send to the Philippines, and somebody collects cash and use Bitcoin as a way of actually reducing that cost, which is the existing trend. But also, if there's that possibility of a leak field, you're integrating with blockchain technology. So, a country like Philippines, a country like Vietnam, if they're pushing for some kind of cashless society, which they are at the moment, they've got a choice. They can use Visa, MasterCard, existing banking, or they can leapfrog straight into some kind of blockchain technology that uses phones, which way more people have than bank accounts in a country like Vietnam. So you've kind of got these two plays, which is integrating with how people do things now, but also trying to push what it could look in the future. Could you share like the thoughts on where you think it's going? Are people going to stay cash? Is it going cashless society? Are they going to follow the West, or are we going to leapfrog? What do you think?
Well, I definitely think there's going to be some leapfrogs going on. I mean, in terms of credit card ownership or bank account ownership in many developing countries around Asia, it's been pretty stagnant for the last few decades, and it's not really going anywhere. So people use cash, they will predominantly continue to use cash, but I think with examples like Alipay in China, I mean, that's a great example of people using mobile money. So things are going mobile. The question is, what infrastructure are you going to use in order to go mobile? If you are a mobile payment company, until only recently with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you had to integrate with the existing banking system. You had to have an FX broker. You had to trade currencies and take positions and hedge and have different forward contracts and things. And it's a very laborious process. It's a very costly and expensive process. But now we have the ability to use Bitcoin as an underlying infrastructure, or cryptocurrency in general, which is traded 24/7 all around the world in countries all around the world and currencies all around the world. And we don't need to seek permission from anyone to do that. So essentially the great benefit here is that getting started and creating new businesses is a lot easier. The barrier to entry is coming down. Because if I'm an existing incumbent company, or maybe an Alipay, and I want to target a new country, how am I going to do that? I have to go and integrate with the financial system on the ground and have relationships with banks and payment providers. It takes a long time to organize. But Bitcoin's already there. It's already existing. The infrastructure's already there. So really, as an infrastructure play, it's a very exciting thing to use to facilitate remittances.
Okay, George, well, thank you very much for your time. I'm just going to talk a little bit to the qualifying investors at Bank to the Future about some of the things that we're looking to do and how that relates to this particular offer. So we just actually launched a funding round for our BnkToTheFuture.com, which probably at the time of this is closed now because we've got subscribed at about approximately $1 million. And one of the things that was really popular with the investors is we experimented with a bonus to reward people that were investing earlier, whereby the earlier they invest, the higher the returns they get. Now we've been looking at what we can do to facilitate this, because what we noticed is a trend whereby people are waiting to the very end of the pitch until they make their investment, and sometimes it raises less than it would have just because everyone was waiting to the end. And so what we're doing right now is we're looking at, because we at Bitcoin Capital have invested in Bitspark And the conditions of the deal is that it reaches its minimum funding goal on BnkToTheFuture.com. So Bank to the Future has a very large mining farm in Iceland, and recently the price of Bitcoin went through the roof. It's corrected about 50% now, but it's still a lot higher than where it started before this bull run. And we're really passionate about getting as many people on board with Bitcoin as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer the very same bonus that we offered the Bank to the Future investors that invested in our funding round. And that bonus is that we're going to actually allocate some hash power. And that may sound like a geeky word, but essentially the way that the Bitcoin works is every 10 minutes new Bitcoins are created, and those are distributed to miners that are running hash power. We've got a very efficient mining farm in Iceland, and we're actually just giving that as a bonus to some of our investors that invest early. And the way that the mechanics is going to work is we just have someone step in front. That's the way it works in Hong Kong. People are in a rush, but we're going to carry on rolling through. The way that it works is the earlier that one invests, the more hash power we're going to allocate them, and therefore the more Bitcoins they're going to receive. We're going to pay you Bitcoins every single day for as long as the mining process is profitable, and the definition of mining profitability will be discussed below in the terms of how this actually works. But in a nutshell, anyone that invested before this video goes live, we're going to give you the maximum bonus, and every week it's going to go down slightly until we reach the end of the pitch. It's designed as an incentive to make those people that have already decided to invest want to invest earlier because the returns are greater. Please don't get too focused on the bonus and how many Bitcoins you're going to get. This is about investing in Bitspark, and for those that invest early, we're going to give you an actual bonus. It doesn't mean that the bonus is going to return on its own. It may do in the future as the Bitcoin price goes up, but we don't want to focus on that. We just want to reward you, for those of you that have decided to invest, the earlier you invest, the higher the returns you're going to get. Yeah, we're doing this because we're really passionate about the Bitspark pitch. We think that there's been a lot of interest, there's been a lot of good questions on the forum, and we're looking to incentivize those who have decided to invest a little bit earlier, so we can make sure that we get the penetration in Southeast Asia that we think Bitspark has positioned itself to take advantage of. So thanks for watching this video, George. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to seeing where this goes next.
Thank you.
Thank you.